Hi there. This is Geraldine Ryan Lush, Deanie Dishes on YouTube. Um, my topic today, and it will be an impromptu one because I really didn't think too much about even doing a video today, but hey, I think I will anyway. The topic is no one is immune to seeing a ghost. And why I'm doing that particular topic? Well, partly because it's the headline to a recent article that was written about me in a newspaper, and partly because it happens to be true. No one, at least from my perspective, and I would say to the perspective of a lot of people that do involve themselves in the paranormal field and are interested in it, write about it, talk about it, whatever. I personally don't think anyone is immune to seeing something of the paranormal nature. Anybody can experience something like that. It doesn't matter how old they are, where they come from, what education they have, if they're formally educated or not, or anything like that. Their belief systems, their religion, whatever. From all walks of life, anybody can experience the paranormal. So, I'm going to talk about stories in 2 books I've written. These books are on the market. Well, this one came out last year. It's the second collection to this one. Now, somehow or another, people get the idea that this one is the same book as this one. And to tell you the truth, looking back on it now, I wish I had titled this differently, because it says Haunted Towns Volume 2, More Ghost Stories of Newfoundland and Labrador. They are all different, completely different stories than those in the first collection. So, seeing they are all a collection of stories from Newfoundland and Labrador, I didn't see anything wrong with calling the second collection Volume 2 of Ghost Stories of Newfoundland and Labrador, which is what they are. However, it didn't seem to interfere with popularity or the sales figures or anything like that. But there are a few people that have been a little confused and asked me about it and so on, so I just thought I would explain it here today. Anyways, getting back to my topic, no one is immune to seeing a ghost. That is so true. So I'm going to refer to some of the stories in both these collections. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each story and give you kind of a feel for what's about to come or what you can expect to read about. Because in both these collections, these are contemporary stories. They happened. Both these collections happened in Newfoundland and Labrador within the past, I'd say probably the last 20 years, with a lot of them happening within the last decade, and some of them happening just a few years ago. I think the last one happened in 2018. Oh no, wait, yeah, 2018. There was another one happened in 2020. So, they're pretty recent. So, you just don't know, when you're going to experience something out of the ordinary or something that you wouldn't want to repeat to people because they think you're a little, turned in the head or something. And people have asked me too, do I believe in ghosts? I can't actually say that I have actually seen a spirit or an apparition or something like that. I have had a couple of weird experiences with sound and movement and things like that, but I haven't actually seen anything. I believe there's another entity, let's put it that way. I believe there's another force that's operating in the universe that can't be explained. And a force that's working to sometimes to keep us out of danger and so on. I believe in premonitions. I believe in guardian angels because that is, the guardian angels to me, I guess I believe strongly in guardian angels because I think I've been helped by them more than once in different situations. And it's happened often enough that it kind of makes me believe in guardian angels, yes. And I believe in premonitions and warnings. I believe and in crisis apparitions where something is happening to a close family member in another place or something, in another city, town, province, state, country, whatever. And the person that they're close to at home, miles away or hours away by plane or whatever, they get something, they get a sign or something that something is wrong. And then, a little later on, something does happen or is about to happen. I do believe in that. I believe in premonitions, yes. And in one of these books, there's a story from my personal life, actually. It happened to my grandmother. And it concerns something that happened to her on the night of a huge fire that happened. And two of her sons, which were my father and his brother, were involved in this fire. And it's all in this book. It's a true story. And in actual fact, my son has written a book, his Soldier's Coat, Gabriel Ryan and the Knights of Columbus Fire of 1942. That's also on the market and actually won a Canada Book Award. So that's a true story of one of the stories that I deal with in this book that really happened. And it was something really, something unexplainable happened that night. And I go into detail about it in this book. It really happened. And I think it definitely had something to do with my father not being burnt to death in the fire. He was seconds away from being burnt to death and crushed on. And well, he would have been crushed on because he had just finished helping to save some people's lives, and he was out himself, or almost out. Decided to go back in to save lives, to help people. And it was while he was about to go back in that the door, just beams came down and everything, that the building was toppling anyway. And he was crushed in a pile of people, and he was unconscious. And my grandmother, who was miles away from where this happened, an hour's drive away, or more than that then, because the roads weren't paved for this community, so it was longer than an hour, I guess probably more like 2 hours. So she had what seems to be a premonition, and the whole story is told in this book. So yes, I do believe in certain aspects of the paranormal and other forces and entities working, for sure. So with that, I will just go over a couple of stories that I have in both books, some titles, and maybe it'll pique your interest to look them up. They're doing, since they came out, they're doing amazingly well, and they're selling not just online, but they're selling in cities and towns. And I've been on tour around the province here of Newfoundland, and it's amazing the reception that I get and the reception that books are getting, and people love it. People love to. The thing about these stories is that I don't believe in implying grizzle or blood or anything like that to tell stories, and that's what people seem to like about them. They get scared with them, and they get shivers, and they get goosebumps, and they can't stop reading until they get to the end of it because they want to know why or how or what or whatever. So, anyways, I'm going to just go over a few titles, and I hope you will be interested enough that you will delve further into these collections. So, from the first collection, some of the titles, of course, The Soldier's Ghost, which people can't get enough of The Soldier Ghost, who was the story of a man that worked at a production plant in St. John's, Newfoundland, and working there for years. And there was all kinds of activity going on there, and people would be always talking about all this activity and talk to each other because they were scared to talk about it in the open. So this is quite the story, how he sees this same soldier, and he tries to find out who this soldier is. So this soldier and other entities because you see there was a morgue at this plant and had been there since the 1940s during the war, Second World War. And it was connected with the Second World War, actually. And there was all these stories that he was hearing, and they were all discussing it all the time and everything, that this morgue was there since that time, and where they were having their lunch in the night time was exactly where this morgue used to be. And the guys would be frightened to death to go do a job or something. If they got an order to go over and fix something, whatever, they would say to the other guy, I'm not going over there. That place is haunted. I'm not going near it. So a couple of them had to go, 2 or 3 at a time, whatever. But it gets really, really creepy, and this guy, he gets determined to find out. He gets to get to the bottom of it. But as it says in the book, in the story, did he really get to the bottom of it? Did he really? Are they gone? Are these awakened spirits, the unquiet dead, or the unpeaceful dead? Are they really gone? So that is quite the intriguing, creepy story. The Soldier Ghosts of Pleasantville. And Pleasantville, of course, was at one time, it was an American military base in Newfoundland during the war. And this is where this story takes place. So, and also there is story of the ghostly truck starter. 2 guys were going out of town one weekend, and brand new truck, not a thing wrong with the truck, big F-350. They had it all loaded up. They were going Moose hunting or something, and they were all excited one way for the weekend and stuff, and all of a sudden the truck stops, and the engine just gave out. So they were puzzled. They couldn't figure out what was going on because she was a brand new truck, so everything was working perfect. So they saw somebody, and anyways, something weird happened, something ghostly happened. So why did the truck stop? And the girl on the road. That's another really, really popular story. It's a true story about a girl on Petty Harbour Road. And the person that saw this girl in the middle of the road, he was driving along, he sees this person in the middle of the road just sitting there. And she actually comes up and goes right through the windshield. So, suffice it to say, he went through a hard time. And there's another one about a thrift store picture. What happened when somebody picked up a portrait from the early 1900s and brought it home and hung it up. And whoever was in that painting or portrait didn't want to be there anyway. They didn't like to know about. So there's a story about a chef at a hotel here, and what happened to him. And of course the used car ghost, that's another really popular one. You know, about a used car. It would certainly make you think about buying a used car for sure. Stranger in the graveyard. A guy goes to visit the graveyards on Mother's Day. And he has a really, really weird experience. The police officer saw a man on a rock out in Exception Bay. Actually, that was my grandfather. My grandfather was an RNC officer, and I grew up with this story, so that is a true story. And, well, they're all true, but I mean, I'm here to attest for that one because he really did experience that. I was way home from my duty one night, and this man on the rock, you know, he was talking to him and everything, so he just disappeared. So there's the angry ghost of St. Patrick's Church. St. Patrick's Church downtown, that there was a family wedding there, and it was somebody apparently showed up on people's pictures. And there's a story behind that too. And The Curse of Thomas Mackey, which is a fictional account of an exorcism, actually, and a curse. That's Handing His Hand. My other novels was built around that story. And a Twillingate story, Haunting in the Attic. There's The Stolen Child. It's really creepy. And Crisis Apparitions. These are just a fraction of stories in it. So you want to pick that one up. Wet your whistle, because it will keep you up all night, and it's got fantastic reviews, and it keeps getting more and more reviews actually. So that's that one, and then this one is the second collection, and they're all new stories. Little Girl on Train. This story is set back during the tsunami of 1929 in Bjorn. That's a really intriguing, creepy story, to say the least. That would give you shivers. The father and his daughter, or his little girl, were traveling from Carbonear to St. John's. And this little girl, his daughter, she was about probably 8 or 9 years old, I guess. And she was running around, you know. No, I think she was a little younger than that, though. She was running around, you know, on the train, you know, and was just running up and down the aisles like kids do. And next thing she sees this girl there. Water, just torrents of water coming down over her. And the girl was crying and upset and panic-stricken and all that. And there was no way there was water inside the train, and there wasn't any water on the floor or anything like that, and it wasn't raining or anything, so anyway, you'd have to read the story to find out, you know, what the source of that apparition was, and why she was there and so on. It did happen during this terrible earthquake in 1929, Newfoundland and the Bjorn Peninsula. The Reckless Ghost of the White Van. White vans. No, something happened in a white van. This van was always going around driving too fast and reckless driving and all that. So this woman got fed up one day when this, you know, was going around. She blew at him, or no, he blew at her, or he did something to her anyway that really made her mad. So she got out and she went over to, she went to the store, and she saw the same person there in the same white van. So she couldn't hold it in. She was that mad and angry that this terrible person, had been doing the things he was doing, putting his thumb up at her, and, you know, being very reckless and you know, bad actually. So when she went over to him, she got afraid of her life. So, the Reckless Ghost of the White Van. The Creepy Cashier. There was a woman used to go to the store all the time, and every time she go to the store, this cashier would be always helping her, all the time, helping her, helping her, helping her. No matter what she would be doing or looking for, this same cashier was always around, but she wasn't alive. This cashier wasn't alive, so. And oh my goodness, there's so many stories here. Stranger at the airport. It's a really weird one too. This guy was going somewhere, and this happened back in the 60s, this one, so that's not really a recent one, but, well, it is recent in a way because what happens there is recent. The aftermath of it was recent. It happened about 30 years ago. This young guy was traveling to the States, and he got in conversation with this other guy, anyway, the same age, around the same age. So the other guy was called for his flight, and the first guy was waiting for his. So when he got to wherever he was going, he got the news that the first guy who he had met at the terminal, there was a plane crash. The plane that he was on crashed, and he died. So 30 years after, there's activity from this first guy that got killed. So it would make you think twice about flying, for sure. I'm not a good flyer myself. I'm bad enough as it is, but to hear a ghost story before I get on a plane is probably a bit much. The moving van ghost. Well, like I said, anybody can see a ghost. No one is immune to a ghost. So this woman was moving, and this young fella that had his own private moving van offered to help her, and she was so delighted 'cause she wanted a second load or a third load or something. And he says, okay, and she never had all that, she was running out of money, so she said, I don't know if I can afford a third load. He said, don't worry about that. He said, I'll do it for you. He said, don't worry about it. So she was so appreciative that he helped her that she gave him some furniture. Actually, it was a coffee table set. So when he got to where he was, when he helped her out and then went home, wow, on his way home, wow. So the furniture apparently, I don't think her dead husband was too fussy about the fact that she had given away his coffee table set. So it actually was possessed. These are all true stories that were sent to me and told to me, and something else. And there's a story about a runner who experienced, in Conception Bay South, that experienced an apparition, or experienced something weird from this other person. And I'll just go down to some of the titles. The Resettlement Ghost, which it was a story of resettlement in Newfoundland. It's also set back in the 1960s, but the repercussions from it were recent, just a few years ago. So that is a really creepy story too, about a little boy who didn't want to leave the island that was being resettled. And a few decades later, he shows up in this man's life, and it gets really creepy. The basement apartment smoking ghost. Who was this ghost that was always smoking? I hear you knocking about a band leader who didn't want to leave his bandstand. You know, he was a one-man band, and he was killed, and didn't want to leave his bandstand. So I'll go down some more of the titles here. Don't mess with Grandma's last wishes. Don't sell a house too fast after an elderly person dies. It's just a warning. After reading this story, you probably wouldn't dream of it. The Burnt Wood Spirit of the Avalon Mall. It's about a craft fair. Ugh. The Spirit Funerals of Brigus. The Castle in the Sky. The Ghosts in the Oil Drum. Dead and Gone. The Midnight Funerals. Wow. Jesus Spoke to Me, a trickster story. Jacob Stratton's Passport. Man, that was, everybody used to call him an old geezer and everything, and It turns out to be, that is a kind of a poignant story actually, but it is true. The honeymoon ghost, this couple that were married, and a taxi was bringing them somewhere out of town for their honeymoon. That's a really creepy one. And it also is, comes forward into the recent times. It happened maybe a few decades ago, but it, transfers itself to recent people. The submarine in Japan, a crisis apparition. A heartbroken mummer's ghost. You see that there's even mummer's ghosts. A mummer that his girlfriend betrayed him anyway, and with a guy that was anything but respectable, put it mildly, a charmer and a crook, and kind of involved with the mafia and so on. So that's another true story. Back from the Dead, the love rival of St. Pierre. That's another really popular one, and happened. And again, it happened. It may have happened a few decades ago, but the repercussions of it are relevant today. The people that experience it today in another generation. So an old house over there that was built, an old period house of the 1920s, and at the Prohibition era, that was built from liquor crates of the Prohibition era, St. Pierre and Miquelon, the French islands off the coast of Newfoundland. So something really, that's a really creepy one altogether. It's probably one of the creepiest ones in the book. And Give Me Back My Dress. That's the story of a thrift store. True Sizzling Seances. The Moaning Spectre of Bell Island. Ghost House by the Sea. Grandad's Return. The Haunted Graveyard. That's just some of the stories in this. Actually, there's more stories in this than there is in this one. This one is thicker, has more stories. However, they're both enough to keep you up at night. So, that's my message to you today. No one is immune to a ghost. Anyway, think about it tonight when you're going to bed. And I'd be really charmed if you thought about it enough to actually check out my books. Because they're really, really popular and people love them. And you won't forget them. You won't forget those stories very soon. So, thanks a lot for tuning in. And my name is Geraldine Ryan Lush. My YouTube channel is Deanie Dishes, even though there's another channel there under Geraldine Ryan Lush. But most of the time I do post on and put up videos on Deanie Dishes. I have written 19 books. I'm working on my 20th book. Should be out probably this year. So, and you want to find out all about me, I'm on Amazon. I can be checked out on the Amazon. Just Google Amazon. I'm on Twitter at G Ryan Lush. I'm on Facebook, author Geraldine Ryan Lush, and whatever. I don't think I'm hard to find anyway. So take care and have a great day. I know it's early yet, but hey, happy Halloween. Bye.